I'm documentary filmmaker Ryan Zimdolamos.
I'm Dorati Lombard and I responded to a Facebook ad.
We are the team behind Breaking the Habit, and this is our story about the story.
Firstly, to open it up, how did this all come about? Ryan, I know you originally from Zimbabwe. Dorati, you classify yourself as a dog-loving Afrikaans male. So, firstly, what was the inspiration, and secondly, how did step one become two and three?
I think to put it in perspective, going back 3-4 years ago, maybe before I even met Chesi, I bumped into Dorati, and we've had a few party nights and stuff, and getting out there and jollying, and his character just got me involved, and I just he grew on me, and doing his BA MCC and that script writing and video editing, film production, I always kept that in mind. And then
I always responded to all your Facebook ads though.
Hey,
Need
Dorati,
this,
Dorati.
need that. Felt like I was sending my CV to you weekly.
every day.
Yeah.
This guy harassed me for days. Anyway, I think
I'll let you take this one.
thanks, D-Rat, D-Rizzle.
No problem.
I think 2013, at the height of the Southern Kings rugby, I met Chesi for the first time. He was part of the cheerleading squad on the field, and after that, after the game, we were all in like the venue, the VIP venue and stuff, and Chesi and then broke out into a little skit, a little breakdance thing, and I just, that's the first time I met Chesi, and I was like, oh cool, nice guy. And then I still said to him that day, Chesi, we must get together, let's do something, let's let's film something. And he was keen. And then maybe 2 years later or a year later, bumped into Chesi again at a corporate function, and we got to hang out a bit more, just Chesi without the whole dance crew and stuff before the event, and then I shot more of the event with him in it, and straight away there, getting to know Chesi, I just said to him, Chesi, we will do a story on you one day. And then people, promises, so nothing was expected of it or anything yet. And then now 2016, I was just like, Chesi, this is happening, let's get this story out. And we got together, we sat down, we got his whole script together, listened to his story, we planned it, and I'm happy with the way we did this, and be able to bring his story to the world.
I've been fortunate enough to see some of the scenes, and straight away you can pick up that it's a story of immense contrast. I mean, you've got the hip-hop industry, you've got guys, you've got the drugs, and you've got the gangsterism and the booze, and I suppose that negative connotation that goes with what people now perceive as b-boying as hip-hop. But then you've also got this beautiful love story of Chesnam changing his community. You've got guys from the church coming through, putting their hand up and helping these guys and literally changing lives. Brian, as a director, was that something that you intended on showing, or did it just kind of fall into place?
Look, from the beginning, after our first initial scripting, I'll be honest, our scripting changed maybe 50 times during the course of this whole documentary. But for me, collaborating, pulling in Dorati, pulling in other crew members, Justin Olifants, Vuyo Wabani, bringing in a team to sit down. You see, I've got my initial story, that's how I saw it, but then getting the feedback, the input from the different key players in the industry, or people who, from different sectors in the industry, script writing or video work or just the editing people alone, they build on the story. And I think initially the story that I wanted to tell and the story that we are actually telling, it's the same thing, but we did it better because of the collaboration and because of the joint effort from the crew.
We had Justin Oliphant, the cameraman. He was from that area. His whole perspective of everything and how he views it, he just knew what was going on there. He knew what we wanted, but also we were looking for the most streetish kind of hardcore looks. We were looking for graffiti everywhere. And there was some amazing art.
Yeah, he also knew key players in the area. I mean, if you had to take us two token white guys going into the hood in Shorterville, trying to go film a documentary on our own and not having that support from a community leader, I mean, I don't know if our story would have been anything.
And
what
we
it
always,
is.
that was one thing we really worried about, because we always knew we would have to be hands-on, we would have to be there, because this is the story we're telling, and the story happens there. We didn't want to supplement any shots and do it somewhere. You know?
This is a documentary about the period, the area, and Cheslin's life, and we had to give that.
It's
raw,
a true story,
that
and
feel.
we could have glamored it up a bit, but why?
Why?
Yeah.
Being in charge of the script, you had sort of a culmination of a lot of big characters. I mean, you had guys like Pastor Awareness, Rhino, B-Boy Rhythm, B-Mom. Was it an intentional thing to try to touch on the impact that all these guys have had on Cheslin's life? Or was that more a background story into the area itself? Or was there what was the planning behind that, and how did you balance these characters?
It was me and Vuyo Wabani who wrote the script, and it like Ryan said earlier, it was a process. It kept on changing. We kept on rewriting it. Pastor Justin Oliphant, he wasn't part of the plans at all. We hired him as a cameraman and as a liaison support system through the area. And the more we got to know the cameraman, the more Vuyo and I were like, this guy speaks really well. He speaks the truth. He makes good points. We had to get him in. We got him in his area where he was working at the time. He met Cheslin when Chesy was 6 years old or 7 years old. And it just puts so much more in perspective, especially Justin, who he kind of specializes in working with youngsters. So he knows what these kids have been through. He knows what these kids need. And yeah, he was very important for that. Very important.
Shots from where you have interactions with the police force itself, and they put it into perspective, just sort of the rough lives that these inhabitants live. Firstly, how was that for you guys going into an area or a community like that is so tight-knit? And then secondly, what was the reaction towards you guys trying to tell their story?
But I think going into the areas, I think it opens up your mind or opens up your eyes to the way different people live. It's hard for them there. I mean, it's like the gang wars, the lack of service delivery, the lack of things for the youth to do to get them out of drugs and stuff. So what do? They end up...
The people in general were very inspiring. They were very friendly, very involved actually. People were kind of offering their services to us while we were shooting. They'd see what was happening. We had 2 kids come up to us who liked to tag things. They were spray painters. I took them to build it, and we got some spray paint, we got a glass, and we played around with some concepts. But in general, everyone was friendly. All the kids loved it. The kids were dancing for free. Everyone just wanted to be involved and get involved.
Yeah, and I mean, approaching Andre Hector or someone like that to do an interview with them, they were more than willing, and they happy to tell their story and tell what they know about Cheslin and the story behind it. Very approachable. I mean,
there's a lot of love for Cheslin. You can see that.
What does Breaking the Habit mean to you?
Yeah, the name Breaking the Habit came about from 2 factors. Simply breaking for b-boy dancing, break dancing, and then obviously breaking the habit, which is the situation which Cheslin's trying to break the mold of gangsterism, drugs, and all that stuff in the area. So breaking the habit.
I also thought it came around by there were easy way outs for Chesy. If you've seen some of the people in the community and some of the examples set, it's not great. So I don't want to sound too much like your high school principal, but you want to get out of your comfort zone. You want to change things for the better. Things need to change.
Definitely.
We want change.
If you guys had to describe yourselves as an animal at 11 p.m. when you hit that dance floor, what would it be?
Tiger.
Monkey.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, a monkey, most of my dancing is done with my arms. I have thick legs, so it's hard to describe, but most of my dancing is done with my arms. And I got these thick legs that are like pillars, very static,
Must I elaborate?
Well, you classify yourself as quite a feisty dancer.
Well, feisty dancer, you're in there to go and eat it, and that's it. No one gets in your way.
Lastly, guys, thank you very much for giving up the time to sit with us. Truly inspiring story that you're putting out about Chesney's life and just the hardship that so many South Africans are going through on a day-to-day basis. Can't wait to see the documentary.
Thank you for having us, Ricky Bobby, and be sure to catch Breaking the Habit,
Breaking the Habit,
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock,
5th of March,
5th of March,
ETV.
ETV.
You can either let life beat you down, or you can adapt to the battle and bring your best moves. You can go with the flow, or choose to break the habit. I'm going to leave this place better than I found it. Not only leave my mark on the dance floor, but also my community. I am Cheslin B-Boy Rhythmmeyer, and this is my story.
Breaking the Habit, Sunday at 6:05 on E!